Shalom. The Midrash on Vayikra asks a question about this week's parasha, Parashat Tzav. Why did children begin their studies of Torah with Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, as opposed to Sefer Breshit, the book of Genesis? After all, Genesis is about narratives, and Vayikra, as we see this week for the second week in a row, is chock full of details about such ancient institutions as ritual sacrifice, which have been obsolete since the destruction of the Second Temple in the year 70. So why, in fact, do we traditionally begin a child's study of Torah with the book of Vayikra? Lots of commentators have wrestled with the details of Vayikra and have looked for explanations in the symbolic implications of the text as opposed to the actual details of the text. For example, Rabbi Neil Lovinger, relying on the teachings of the medieval French sage Rashi and the modern Orthodox psychiatrist and scholar Rabbi Abraham Twersky, comes to the conclusion that it's about teaching zealousness. The priest is commanded to perform all the sacrifices from which the priest usually benefits by eating of some of the sacrifice, but the olah offering, which is a total burnt offering from which the priest derives no benefit, has to be handled with as much attention to detail as every other sacrifice, teaching that one must be zealous even when one doesn't have any kind of personal benefit. Rabbi Bradley Artson, consistent with the teachings of other commentators, teaches that the blood that is placed on the ear and the thumb and the large toe of the priest at the ordination ceremony that's described in the parasha is symbolic of how one has to bring one's entire being, one's entire body, into the service of the community when one transitions from being a private individual into becoming a public leader, as the Kohen did, and did for the first time in the ceremony found in the parasha. And he teaches us that just as the people of Israel are supposed to be a mamlechet kohanim, a kingdom of priests, a people of priests, that we too have to put all of our being, all of our energy into those mitzvot, those matters which we are commanded by God to perform in order to fulfill the vision described in the Aleinu prayer, the Taken Olam b'Malchut Shaddai, to fix the world in accord with God's plan. So the commentators, both rabbinic and modern, find much insight in the symbolism implicit in the text, but going back to the original question about what children learn, none of this can really apply to children for whom symbols are not yet really understood. So why do children begin their studies of Torah by delving into the details of Vayikra and Tzav, last week's parasha and this week's parasha, describing korbanot, sacrifices, and other offerings? The rabbis teach it is because little children are pure and unblemished, and the sacrifices are pure and unblemished. The pure begin their learning with the study of the pure. It's a lovely teaching, and it's a lovely idea. But in concrete terms, what was done when children began their studies of the book of Vayikra? The pages of Torah were either drenched with honey or candies were scattered all over their books so that the moment of learning would be a sweet one. It's my prayer that for all of us we'll have many sweet moments of studying Torah together, and that every Shabbat will be as sweet as the beginning of one's Torah studies are when one delves into the world of Vayikra. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.